Okay, so now let's have a look at the code. But firstly, how are we actually going to look at that code? Well, I'm using a text editor to view the code, and it's called Sublime Text. Sublime Text is awesome. You should totally support them, but any text editor you choose will totally work. So, getting started, let's go ahead and have a look at our index.html file. The index.html is the real home turf of any project. The index.html file is the default file rendered by the browser in a web application, unless something else is specified. And when working with HTML files like this, we can go ahead and right-click, and we have an option to view that page in the browser. So let's go ahead and click Open in Browser, and we can see the way our project looks so far. Pretty similar to what I showed you earlier, but we don't have any of that awesome lightbox behavior when we click on these images. So returning back to our code, let's take another look further. I have some comments here that are actually kind of just denoting the content of this page. So here at the bottom of the body of the HTML, you'll notice that I have a comment that says JavaScript. So first off, these comments aren't actual code. They're just things to help make our code more readable. So I'll encourage you to use comments as we continue these next couple projects. But I put this JavaScript comment here because this is where our jQuery library and our lightbox library is going to be loaded. We want our JavaScript to be loaded after all of our HTML because it's going to interact with it. And so we want it to be on the page before we load our JavaScript libraries. Additionally, let's go to the top and look at the CSS comment. You can see that there's already one CSS file linked in this project. So I made a basic CSS file just to give this project a little bit more style, and we're not going to have to worry about it for the rest of this project. And lastly, just the actual content of the body. We have a basic header, and these are our 6 thumbnail images. These are our images that are going to be clicked to enlarge the larger image that we saw earlier. And now, where can we find these images? Well, it's best practice in a web application to store images and icons in a folder called Assets. So if you've ever worked on any larger web projects, you may have come across an Assets folder. This Assets folder contains images that are the full-size images and our thumbnails that we have here already. Okay, so now that we know the basics, let's get started loading those JavaScript libraries.